Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream, and yeah, it is the deadline stream for uh, game week one. So yeah, we hope everyone's having a good Friday. Was a good Friday evening. It is the start of the Premier League. Man City kick off the season against Burnley away from home. So yeah, Premier League is here. Feels like we've had a long break, Jordan, but are you excited now? Obviously, Premier League's back. Deadline stream is here, game week one. And yeah, are you excited for this stream?
Yeah, I'm excited. We're almost there. Literally under an hour and a half now until obviously the deadline is ended, and obviously we have to see today's match, which is Man City and Burnley. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting first game to kick off game week one.
Yeah, definitely. Should be a interesting game week. Yeah, I did miss the football. I think I'm excited to get back into it. And yeah, we're going to go through our teams, I think, and talk about any changes that we've had in our teams. And yeah, we'll take your guys' questions, any queries you have, in regards to captaincy, the players we've decided to pick. Hopefully, we get some early team news. We'll make sure we're on Twitter as well. And obviously, Man City news is the one that we're going to be looking out for, if we can get info on that. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, we can speak about your team, Jordan. We can start. Obviously, I see you've made a few changes from
Yes.
your other team. Um, Talk us through some of your picks. For example, I want to chat to you about specific players. I see you've gone with Edison, Estupinian, Shaw, Trent. Obviously Embuemo, Mitoma, Fernandez, Saka, Foden, Darwin, Haaland. Interesting team as of now. Trent's the interesting one again. Are you pretty locked on Trent, or what's the thinking behind going for Trent? Because obviously, I'm not sure what his ownership is like, but he does become an interesting pick, obviously. And obviously, there is that whole debate sort of in the community. Should we include Trent or Salah, or should you go without both, or have one of them? What made you select Trent in your team?
Well, yeah, saying that his ownership is only 19% of people have him in the team. But the reason why I've gone with Trent is I think it's solely on what happened last season, where we saw near the end, where obviously Trent was playing in the inverted right back position, and because he played in that position, we did see more returns coming from Trent. Obviously, because Liverpool had a bit of an iffy season last. Despite that, Trent still showed real class in that inverted right back position, and I think a lot of people were asking for Trent to play in obviously that position, because he does. He's much better than defender, in my opinion. He's like an attacking midfielder, but I think he's really suited that role perfectly. So the reason why I picked Trent is I feel like he plays as like a sixth midfielder. I do expect a lot of assists from Trent coming, and maybe the odd goal or two from him as well. And because he's a defender as well for obviously Liverpool, he does tend to get bonus points as well if he is to get maybe an assist or a goal in a match. So you may see him get maybe bonus two or maybe a bonus one, where you might see Salah get bonus three. But I think there's a lot of upside for Trent. The only downside I think is the price, because he is 8 million, and it's a real struggle to fit him into that defensive team. But I
Just
think it is.
sorry, carry
Yeah.
on.
But I think it is worth the 8 million that the value does hold in Trent.
Yeah, the question I was going to ask you is, with this current team that you've got, what's the money in the bank?
The money in the bank is currently on zero, so I have
Zero.
no money in the bank. Now that could change depending on what the Man City lineup is, because I have thought about taking out Foden if he is benched, if we do
Mhm.
find out early team news, and replacing him with Richarlison.
Also, there is some news that I want to actually discuss with you guys in regards to that Man City game. Obviously, from the press conference, we did find out that Vardiol is ready to play. so that could mean he starts. Ake is also available. However, there is a rumor, or take it with a pinch of salt, that Ruben Diaz has not travelled with the squad. So if anyone's got Ruben Diaz, you might want to consider potentially taking him out of your team. There's quite a reliable guy on Twitter that's reported that Ruben Diaz hasn't travelled due to a concussion protocol. Other news, Embuemo, as you guys can see, is currently available now to play. I think the manager has come out and actually said Embuemo will be fit to start against Spurs, and Henry as well, which was a bit of a slight worry around him. So yeah, both of them will start in game week 1. So that's positive news. In regards to also, I want to speak about very quickly about Richarlison is kind of a topic that's been brought up quite a lot because, as you guys know, Harry Kane, as far as I'm aware, unless something's changed again, he's on his way to a medical to Bayern Munich. He's flying out, and it looks like that could get confirmed. If that's the case, and Richarlison being priced, I believe at 7 million as a midfielder, he could be playing as a striker as a Harry Kane replacement. And if that's the case, are you tempted to go with someone like Richarlison, Jordan, knowing that he could be the Harry Kane replacement, playing up front, minutes, might be on penalties? Have you given it a thought for someone like Richarlison, or you won't go there?
Yeah, it's definitely in my plans. I think if, for example, if Foden doesn't start against Burnley away, I could potentially bring in Richarlison in his place and play him, knowing that obviously Kane has left and Richarlison will probably play as in his position. I think now, in terms of goal scorers for Spurs, I kind of only see maybe Son, Richarlison, or maybe Maddison as goal scorers. So I think picking Richarlison at 7 million as well, he's 0.5 cheaper than a Foden, and he's guaranteed to play obviously more minutes than what he did previously in the season. So I think there's a lot of upside for Richarlison, and potentially he could be a breakthrough midfielder at 7 million, who goes on to score for Spurs like we saw with Harry Kane.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at it. I'm not giving it too much thought, but I've seen some people consider it like bringing someone like him in, especially now Kane's off. It looks like. Embuemo, again, we've spoke about him. He looks like one of the best 6.5 million picks. I see you've gone with both. You've added Mitoma and Embuemo. You've also gone. No, Rashford is interesting. So yes. I want to ask you in terms of Rashford and Fernandes. Like, do you think it's close between them, or what made you go with Fernandes? Sorry.
I think the slight upside with Fernandes is obviously he's now a captain for Man United, now new captain. But I think because he's on penalties, he's slightly more upside going over Fernandes. And he is 0.5 cheaper than Rashford. And I know a lot of people will probably say, why not just go for Rashford? He's only 0.5 more expensive than Bruno. But I think you can't go wrong. It's either you want maybe assists from Fernandes or you want goals from Rashford. But in the middle, you can kind of not split them too far apart because they both play in different ways. I mean, Fernandes does amazing passes to obviously United players on the pitch like Rashford up front. And on the other hand, Rashford is a goal scorer. Obviously, he scored the most goals for Man United last season. And because of Højlund not being available, that will remain the same probably until he is available to come back into the team. So it's hard to split them. I kind of been going back and forth whether I put Fernandes or Rashford in that position, but I think I'm going to stick with Fernandes because of the fact he's on penalties, and I do think Man United will get one here and there. But he's also a goal scorer, and he does get assists, Fernandes, and bonus points.
Okay, interesting. So you think he can cover him, like without going for Rashford? You think Fernandes could kind of match him in points?
Yes, I think he can match him in points. There's not going to be far. There's not a massive gap, I don't think, between those two because obviously with a better midfield now with Mason Mount
Mhm.
now in it, and obviously that midfield is a bit more stronger. I'd say more condensed. We might see a variety between the two of getting goals and assists for Man United.
Also, there's this comment about why is Darwin in your team when we know he won't start. Obviously, it looks like Darwin won't start, as from what we hear. Obviously, no one knows for sure he could start, but in the last two preseason games against Bayern Munich, Darwin was on the bench. He came on later on in the second half. Are you not worried about Darwin being a big rotation risk, minutes risk as well? And it's looking like Gakpo could get the nod, and Jota and Diaz all could be ahead of him in the pecking order.
I mean, for fantasy, you do have to take some risks. I don't think going with the safe pick is going to get you up, obviously up in the ranks. So I'll say Darwin is one of those risky picks that I'm going to go for, and maybe it doesn't work out, or maybe it does work out. But he's guaranteed. He's at least going to play some minutes if he doesn't start anyway, because I don't see Gakpo playing the full 90 if he does start over him. So there is potential that Darwin could come on and, I don't know, maybe score against Chelsea. But yeah, that is a risk I'm willing to take. And if it doesn't pay off, then obviously that's what fantasy is like.
And you got him game week 2 as well, where you can have him potentially against Bournemouth, where he could start, especially the home being a home game. But yeah, I'm not sure what Klopp's going to do in that one as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we will probably come on to Liverpool and speak to them in regards to what I think about Liverpool, and with the, obviously, I'm assuming you guys all seen the Moises Caicedo stuff, and Liverpool seemingly in the hunt for another midfielder, and whether that makes them a better option in FPL, etc. I'll just put it to my team now. This is what I've gone for, guys. Currently, I'm probably going to make a few changes to this team, but this is something what I think my team's going to look like now. A few positions I still could change. So in goal, I've gone Pickford. The back three, I've gone Gabriel, Chilwell, and Estupinian. I've gone with a midfield 5 of Rashford, Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Martinelli. Up front, I've gone with Haaland and Watkins. On the bench, I've got Turner, Kabore, Baldock, and Archer as well. So that completes the team pretty much. If I go on my transfers, I have also considered bringing in. That also leaves me with 1 million in the bank. I have actually considered bringing in John Stones. Sorry, not John Stones. I do like a Man City defender, but RDO in there. But again, I don't know if he's going to start, which is a worry. If he's going to play, if I knew, I'm hoping we get some team news. I could get him in, but then that will basically mean I have a 5 million bench player or a 5.5 million bench player if I bench Ben Chilwell. So yeah, that's the dilemma on that in terms of defense. In the midfield, I'm fairly locked. Martinelli could switch out. I could take him to Odegaard. But I think Odegaard's a bit more expensive, so that's the reason why I do like Martinelli being that 0.5 cheaper, because obviously I had Odegaard in my draft as well previously. I think Martinelli's, again, pretty sound pick. Mbeumo, I think, is my preferred 6.5 million mid. Obviously, Ali Mack with a comment, 6.5 million mids people are overlooking is Bernardo Silva. In regards to Bernardo Silva, I'm just not sure I want to take that risk, because he could easily be rotated out. I think, to be fair, he should start, but then I think he's not really someone that I think is going to get you goals and assists. I know he did in the 18-19 season where he did get some good numbers, but overall, I don't think he's like a player that I would back if I was going for a Man City midfielder. I'd rather have Foden. I think just more of a ceiling to get points in terms of getting goals and assists, and even Grealish, who I prefer because I know he's going to play on that left-hand side. But yeah, maybe people are overlooking Bernardo Silva. What's your thoughts on this, Jordan? Because you've gone with Foden in your team. potentially, like you might include him. Have you considered Bernardo, given him much thought?
No, I'm not really giving much thought with Bernardo Silva. I mean, in terms of the final third, I mean, Bernardo Silva doesn't really get involved. He's more, I'd say, he's more deeper than other midfielders for Man City, who basically holding player. So, no, I'm not sure about Bernardo. I mean, he does have a good run here and there, but no, I'm not too keen on getting Bernardo Silva in. Even though he's 6.5 million, good price, but um, I think I want someone that's going to score um, goals and obviously get a lot of assists.
Question from Ali Mac: Who is the one player you have? Sorry, who is the one player you don't have and you fear? Obviously, his is Rashford.
Mm, not too sure who I'd probably say Rashford's the same if I'm honest because I have Fernandez instead.
For me, it's probably Mo Salah. I think he's the one that I don't have and I fear the most. I think Salah could have the potential to do well, especially in that game week 2 fixture. When I look at it, Bournemouth at home, and yeah, we know what Salah's capable of in FPL. So yeah, he's the one I'd say that I fear the most. Um, is Foden starting? I'm not sure. Obviously, there was a slight worry that he didn't start against Arsenal in the Community Shield, and he came off the bench. And it is strange with Foden because you feel like now that Man City have got rid of a few midfielders like Gundogan, um, who's left, that would enable Foden to be more integral to the Man City team and actually start starting games basically. And I know it's just preseason; it was just a Community Shield, but it does worry me that he still doesn't get into the team. So again, we probably will hear whether he starts or not in terms of the lineup. But again, I do think he's a good pick. When he plays, we know what he can do, and it's just whether Pep goes with him. I think. Um, Jordan, are you tempted with Saka captain?
No, I'm not tempted with captaining Saka, especially when Arsenal's game is an early game. I think it's 12:30 their game, and early games don't tend to go the way we want it to as well. So I never really back the early fixture.
Is it the
Um,
early kickoff as well?
yeah, I think it's the early kickoff. And Nottingham Forest are a team that did pull off surprises last season. I mean, I do expect Arsenal to still win
Mm.
against Nottingham Forest, but I don't think it's going to be an easy win.
Mhm. Roku as well. Start Chilwell or Henry. For me, I'd start Chilwell for sure. I think Chilwell just has more upside. I think the way Liverpool have played so far in preseason, their defense for me looks quite open. Liverpool are very for me when I've watched Liverpool's defense, they are very easy to get at, and we know the Trent inverting coming into midfield is going to leave that gap on that left hand side, which Chilwell is going to look to exploit. So I think I would be having Chilwell for my team in that game week 1 and starting him because he has a potential to get an assist, goals as well, and that right hand side of Liverpool's defense is always obviously targeted by most teams. So yeah, I think that's an easy one for me. I'll start be Chilwell. Um, Jackson and Embuemo or Martinelli and João Pedro. Jordan, who would you go for?
I'll probably go for Nicholas Jackson and Embuemo. We're probably going to, well, Jackson, you'll say, is pretty much going to start, I think, against Liverpool because Nkunku is injured. So only leaves really Jackson there. And
Mhm.
obviously, Mbeumo is confirmed to start. He's fit and ready. So, yeah, I think with those two, I'm siding more towards because Martinelli, as we know, he does rotate with Trossard, so his minutes are not always guaranteed. And João Pedro is one of those as well, where
Mhm.
do we see him kick it off really well with Brighton in the first game against Luton? But yeah, I think it's a wait and see for obviously João Pedro.
Fair enough. I'd probably go with Jackson and Embuemo as well. I think. It's a tough one. I do think Jao Pedro will start though. I think Jao Pedro will play against was it Luton Town first game. Hamza, James over Chilwell, better attacking threat and on penalties. Um, I'm not sure. Obviously, I think I prefer Chilwell right now. I've had James in there as well at points of my draft, but I think the main worry with James is I know they're both sort of mismatches due to injury, but I think James is slightly more injury prone. I feel like he picks up more injuries and he misses he misses more games. And I thought I saw a statistic actually. I can't remember where I saw it, but I don't think James has played 7 consecutive league games since 2021, which is a big concern for me. He's not started over 7 games, guys, in nearly 2 years. So that is a big worry. And I know he's been ordered the new captaincy, so he will start. When he's fit, he's great. Don't get me wrong. When Reece James plays, he has that potential to get you a double-digit haul quite easily. But I think Chilwell, I just prefer it due to I feel like, and especially against Liverpool, if I was to pick a player, I think Chilwell could have a good game on that left-hand side. So yeah, that's just what I'd do. But I think James is a good shout as well. Dan says, good luck this season, guys. Yeah, good luck to you guys as well, Dan. Obviously, everyone else in the chat watching as well. If you guys are enjoying the content, please don't forget to smash the like button and also make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. There's a lot of content to come this season. David says, who is better, Foden or Grealish? You could take that question, Jordan. Obviously, you've gone Foden.
Yeah, I mean, in the Community Shield, Foden did look better than Grealish. Obviously, Foden had a great chance to score. Ramsdale made an amazing save to stop Foden from scoring the goal. And I think with Grealish, he's still a decent player, don't get me wrong. But I still think he's slightly better than Foden. I think Foden's slightly more attacking, whereas Grealish, he'll probably assist another player in the goal, but not really get involved in the goal scoring himself. So I think our side towards Foden, and I like the chemistry between Foden and Haaland too. I think those two really are connected in terms of how they feed the ball to one another.
Dan says, I've got Grealish at the moment, was hoping for some early team news. Yeah, obviously, we probably will hear early team news on Man City. So if we hear anything, obviously, we'll let you guys know. And we'll be keeping our eyes peeled on Twitter. But I do think Grealish will start. Foden is the one I'll be waiting for team news to see if he starts. And then if he does, then obviously that's a big positive and maybe could be a last-minute transfer in for a few managers. I'm just trying to look at what other players I can go with for my team. Instead of spending that money on Vardio, I could go for, I don't want to butcher this guy's name, but Udogi. Obviously the fullback at Spurs, which looks like he's going to start. And I like his fixtures from game week 3 onwards when he's got Bournemouth, Burnley, and Sheffield. And he could be a bench player to have with attacking threat as well. So I've not ruled out Udogi as a bench option for my team as well. So it's one to watch, I think. Hizami, good evening, guys. Long time no see. If Alvarez is starting, should I replace Nicholas Jackson? I'm not sure, if we get team news Alvarez starts, the problem I have with Alvarez is if he starts against Burnley, let's say, which he could easily start against Burnley, but then will he start against Newcastle in the next one? You know what I mean? And then if they've got Sheffield after that, will he start against Sheffield? For me, he's just too much of a rotation risk, I think, and a minutes risk. Obviously, we know when he plays his potential. What's your take on it, though, Jordan?
I think for short term, if we do see Alvarez start in the starting lineup against Burnley, might be worth taking a punt on it just for this fixture, but then maybe going back to Nicholas Jackson afterwards. But if you feel like if Alvarez does start and you think he's going to get something out of that game, I probably would go with him. But then, obviously, game week 2 revert back to maybe Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah, or you can wait till game week 3 even for Jackson, because obviously the fixtures turn again. We've got Liverpool and West Ham game week, first 2 game weeks. But yeah, I think Jackson is a Jackson Alvarez is a good shout. Um, because obviously he has such a high ceiling when he plays. But I wouldn't go there personally. Shrey, anyone thought of chips yet? No, not really. I don't think I'll be playing. I know I saw some people saying, "Can you bench boost in game week 1?" But nah, not for me. Just don't see the point using it in game week 1. But let us know if anyone else is on it. Udogi looked good in preseason. Yeah, I've heard, from a few Spurs fans that they are quite excited about this player. So it's gonna be interesting to see what type of season he has. Obviously, coming into the Premier League. David says, "Keep up the good work, guys." Thank you, David,
Thanks,
for your
David.
comment. Yeah, guys, just make sure you guys drop a like on the stream if you can, and make sure you are subscribed. Eze v Matoma. Um, this is a good question, because obviously this is a big debate, kind of in the community. 6.5 million midfielders. There's Eze, there's Matoma. For me, if I'm being honest, Embuemo is the one I really like as well. I know I had I know I had Embuemo in my team. Eze is in there right now, but I think for me, if I had to pick between those two players, I don't know. I do like Eze a lot. If I show you guys the fixtures, um, they're not too bad. I know Sheffield United away, I'll say is a pretty good fixture for Eze. After that is Arsenal. Again, obviously that's a tough fixture. But then Brentford, Wolves, Villa, Fulham. These are some nice fixtures for Eze and Palace. And he's the main man now. Obviously Zaha's gone, and he should take up the mantle of being like the main man. And I think he will thrive in that new role. So I do like Eze a lot. I think he's a brilliant player, and I think he's going to have a good season. In regards to Mitoma, what's your thoughts on him? Because you've gone with Mitoma in your draft. He's got Luton.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have gone with Matoma, about almost 40% of people have him in the team. I do think Matoma should have a good start for Brighton. I mean, it is Luton at home, so Brighton should play well, in particular Matoma in that one. So, yeah, it is a high ceiling, I think I expect from Matoma. But we'll obviously have to see. But he got 9 goals and 7 assists last season, so I'm not going to doubt him for obviously that fixture.
Hmm. Yeah, I like Mitoma. I just want to see again what he does next season. Can he keep up that level as well? Because I was not as impressed with him near the end of the season, but I guess he was playing a lot of games, not as much rotation. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Brighton do. Obviously, with a few key players leaving, I know they made good signings as well with Mahmoud Dahoud, João Pedro's come in. So yeah, they've also made some good additions in the team. Obviously, Milner's gone there as well. Um, but yeah, Shrey says Mitoma has the better first 3 fixtures, which yeah, that is also true. Hamza said thoughts on Diaby. Obviously, Aston Villa's new signing. I think he's a great player. To be fair, I think he's a brilliant signing for Emery and Villa. I think he's going to have a good season. From what I've seen so far, he's already got a few goals in preseason. I think he scored 2. He looks lively. I think he's an exciting signing for Villa fans, and I think he's a very good pick. And I'd like to think he is going to start games because of the amount of money they paid for him, and it seems like he already is one of their better players. So yeah, I think he will start. Rumors from Ali Max is Rico Lewis. What are the chances the site crashes tonight? Yeah, that is in my back of my mind. Site crashing.
I personally don't think it will crash, because I think since the last crash that they had, obviously last season, I think they did a lot of work on obviously making it more stable when it is more busy. So don't take my word on it. that will be the case. But yeah, just make your moves as early as you possibly can, just in
Yeah.
case it does end up crashing.
Hizami says, "Do you think we are overlooking Salah this season? Not many content creators is going for him." Obviously, there is a template that has sort of formed, and Salah is a bit of a differential, and he's not really he's not really in many, drafts, and some people are decided to go with and spread the money because obviously Salah is quite expensive. Do I think we're overlooking Salah? I don't know. It depends if you think he's worth bringing him into your team. I've not got him right now, but there has been part of me that thinks Salah with his ownership. I don't know what it's at right now. I'm just going to check. 20%, 27%. So that is pretty low for a player like Salah, whose ownership is usually, it's usually around 40-50% at the start of the season. So it's come down quite a bit. Yeah, you could be right. Maybe we are overlooking Salah because you look at his history. 17-18, the season he joined Liverpool, first season 303 points in FPL. Second season 259 points. Third season 233 points. Fourth season 231 points. Fifth season 265 points, and then last season 239 points, which wasn't even his worst season in terms of FPL. It was probably his third best season. So in the last, 6 seasons in a row, Salah has broke 200 points every season. So we could definitely be overlooking him because we know what Salah is capable of. Pretty much hits 20 goals. He's hit 20 goals in every season, bar 2 when he got 19. We know he's also got double-digit assists in every season, bar 1. And he's also on penalties, as I mentioned, which is a big factor when we're looking at buying players. So yeah, I think he could be underlooked. And the reason why I am tempted to go with someone like Salah is because I know he won't be highly owned, and that does appeal to me to bring someone like him in. But obviously, I think you gone more of the other way, Jordan. You probably you're not as tempted to going with Salah. Obviously, he has been a bit of a staple in our teams over the years, but it seems like there is not many maybe on board with him as this year.
Yeah, I think something tells me that when we watch Salah this season, we may not see him. I've mentioned this before, but we may not see him score as many goals as we would normally see him do, just because of how many attacking players now Liverpool do have up front. And even in pre-season, we only saw Salah score 1 goal and assist a lot of the goals from Liverpool. So maybe when the season starts and when it ends, we may see a statistic where we see more assists from Salah than goals scored. And at that price, at 12.5 million, I think I would want to have Salah if I knew he was going to score like he has been in previous seasons. But something tells me a bit of doubt that may not be the same this season. But obviously, it's a wait and see on how he does.
Yeah, with Salah, I still expect him to be Liverpool's top scorer, if I'm being honest. I still think he will outscore the likes of Darwin, Diaz, Jota, Nunez, purely down to the fact that those guys are all rotation risk and they're minutes risks. Salah has no replacement for him. So Salah will play every game, whereas Gakpo, he can come off 60 minutes for Nunez down the middle, where on that right-hand side, Salah is basically, untouchable, really. Moving on to some other comments. Is West Ham's Mubama a starter? Nah, it doesn't look like he is a starter, but he should get some games. He should get some game time, so he could be a player that actually gets some minutes. Hello, guys. Glad to see you back again. Good luck for the season, says FPL Agent. Thank you, mate. Good to see you back as well. Do you think I can go for Bernardo Silva in midfield? Will he play tonight? Again, with Bernardo Silva, it's not 100% that he does play. I think he will play, if I'm being honest. He will start, but again, he's not my ideal Man City player I'd go for if I was going for a City attacking player. I'd rather have someone like a Foden. If I knew Foden was starting, which we should hopefully hear, I'd rather play a Foden ahead of Bernardo just because I think he's more likely to get a goal or an assist. Even Grealish, I think I'd prefer over Bernardo Silva at this moment in time. Another way with a comment. Onana, Pickford, or Turner? Wait, sorry, what was that? Onana, Pickford, or Turner? Pickford, or... That makes no sense. Do you know what?
I think for the middle one, he just means
Oh,
Pickford and a non-playing goalkeeper.
yeah. Okay. Who would you go for? Sorry, Onana and Pickford. So two playing goalkeepers as well, but one's a 4.5 and a 5 million. Turner is a 4 million and 4.5 is a Pickford. I'd probably
Uh,
go with Turner Pickford.
yeah, I think I'd like to have cheap two playing goalkeepers, just so you could rotate when one has a hard fixture and when the other one has a decent fixture.
Comment from Roman Jarvis. Hi lads, Odegaard worth the extra zero point 0.5 over Martinelli. It's a good one, good question. Because obviously we're looking at a lot of us are looking at double, triple Arsenal attack potentially. I've seen some people go with all three. Is he worth it? I think in regards to minutes, definitely Odegaard's going to play 90 minutes most games. He's going to play every game as well when he's fit. Obviously, Martinelli will as well, but Martinelli does seem to get subbed off, around the 70-minute mark for Trossard, who will take minutes off Martinelli. And we know Martinelli did get really good numbers last season in terms of goals and assists, as well as Odegaard did as well. But what about you, Jordan? What do you think in this situation? Martinelli's slight rotation risk in terms of, sorry, not rotation, minutes risk, I think. I still believe Martinelli is a key component to Arsenal's attack, and that when he's fit, he's going to play most games. But when the game's done and dusted, let's say Arsenal are 2-3-0 up and it's 70 minutes, you can see Martinelli going off. Whereas Odegaard, you think he's more likely to play the full 90. Do you think it's worth the extra 0.5?
Yeah, I think it's worth the extra 0.5, especially if you're going to get more minutes out of a player over the other for that price. And honestly, I don't think there's much between the midfielders for Arsenal if you had to compare them between each other. But I think for the sake of minutes that Odegaard will play over Martinelli, I think that's just a slight upside for the extra 0.5 million, which I think is worth it.
Yeah, and also looking at, they got the same amount of goals last season, didn't they? I think 15 goals each. And then I think Odegaard got 8 assists. So Odegaard got 15 goals, 8 assists. And Martinelli got 15 goals, 9 assists. So very similar in that sense. However, Martinelli played 2,700 minutes and Odegaard played 3,100 minutes. So, if you look at that, Odegaard has played 400 minutes more, which is quite a lot more, quite a bit more significant. So, Odegaard's going to play more, for sure, play more minutes. So if your minutes is important to you, and whether you think Martinelli can keep that output up and carry on matching, getting those numbers, hitting that double-digit goals, it's up to you. But I think it could be worth it if you want to be different as well, because Odegaard's ownership is only 23%. But when you look at Martinelli, Martinelli's lower owned. So yeah, 14%. If you want to be a bit more different, I guess Martinelli with the lower ownership, which I'm leaning towards that just due to low ownership, I think, and he's cheaper. Hizami says, please like the stream, guys, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, please, guys. All we ask for is a like on the video. It really helps grow the channel, and all your support. Like, all we ask for you guys hit the drop a like, basically. Also, if you guys are watching, make sure you do join our league. The league code is in the description below. The FPL Duo League, so check that out. Also, make sure you follow us on our socials at the top: Twitter, Instagram, and we also have a Discord now. So if you want to chat to us on our Discord, check that out as well. Onana and a 4.5 million midfielder like Chukwuemeka, or 4.5 million goalkeeper and Garnacho. I probably would go with the first one, Onana, and a 4.5 million midfielder like Chukwuemeka, purely because in terms of Garnacho, I don't think he's going to start. I think he's a big risk in terms of minutes. I think he's more of a... I think Rashford has that left-hand side locked. And on the right-hand side, yeah, Garnacho can play there, but I think Man United will probably go with, obviously, Anthony's going to be there. So Garnacho, for me, if you want to be different, I guess you could go with him, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched most games, and he's more of an impact sub. I think Garnacho. Um, Brian with a comment. Hi lads, best of luck game week 1. I'm on fairly template team last decision. João Pedro and Odegaard 1 million in the bank, or Jackson and Havertz 0.5 million in the bank. What is your thoughts, Jordan, on this? What would you say? How you do it?
That's an interesting one, Jackson Havertz. I'll probably still go with João Pedro and Odegaard. You got a little bit more money in the bank going that way, and as we spoke about Odegaard, he's gonna play obviously more minutes than obviously his partner like Martinelli. So yeah, Odegaard's a decent pick, and João Pedro, he's expected to start for Brighton, but hopefully he gets off a good start with Brighton also. So yeah, I think I like João Pedro and Odegaard as the option.
Also, away from this very quickly, it looks like De Bruyne and Foden both start. So, according to Lazy FPL, which is a well, okay, wow, they're saying no, John Stones doesn't start. So, I don't know how accurate it is. No John Stones or Vardiol. De Bruyne starts, however, and Phil Foden starts. So, for those managers that do have Phil Foden, I guess that is good news. And apparently, Rico Lewis does start as well tonight, the youngster for Man City. So interesting lineup. Nothing on Alvarez that I've seen, and unless anyone's got anything in the chat, let us know. But yeah, Hamza does actually mention here Stones not starting, which I am surprised about. But yeah, I did have Stones in my team, didn't I?
Yeah, a lot of people do have Stones at this current moment. His ownership is 31%. So quite a handful of players do have Stones in the team. So that will probably have to change when they hear about Stones not starting.
Mm-hmm. Hi guys, Trossard or Diaby or Eze? I think that's easy for me right now. I think Trossard, you probably won't even start. Diaby, I think it is a good pick, but I think Eze for the minutes, he's gonna play every game. He's a key man now for Palace. So yeah, for me that's easy. Eze, I think. Dom, what's up, lads? Back with a bang, looking like a good season ahead. Yeah, hopefully it's a good season ahead. Hopefully we can get all the more green arrows this season, and hopefully we can all end on a good rank. What is the best amount of money to keep in the bank for later transfers? Because you've gone with no money in the bank right now, Jordan. Do you like having an amount in the bank, or?
Yeah, it's always nice to have a little bit of money in the bank, just so you've got that flexibility if you want to obviously change a player later on down the line where you need like 0.5 or 1 million more to get that player in. So if I had to say personally how the best amount to keep in the bank, I'll probably say 1 million, 1.5, around that particular margin. So it's really hard to get that much money in the bank, but that's pretty much I'll say for me is the best amount. That extra 1 million does make a huge difference in bringing in a player. So yeah, I think 1 million to keep in the bank for later transfers is a decent amount to have.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Dom also says best 4.5 million keeper with the best clean sheet. Only position I have doubt in. I think Pickford is decent. I also like Johnston at Palace. But look at Pickford's fixtures. They're not too bad. I know Everton did have pretty poor season, obviously almost getting relegated, but Fulham, Palace, Wolves, Sheffield look quite good. The reason I do like Pickford as well is he does make a lot of saves, and if he ever does manage to keep a clean sheet, he's probably going to have made a lot of saves in that match as well, and then you might get a bonus points, and then it's a double-digit haul potentially. I think Johnston at Palace is also a good pick, potentially at 4.5. Looks like he's going to start the season. Sheffield, Arsenal, Brentford, Wolves, Villa, Fulham. if you want to go cheap on a 4.5 million goalie. I think those two seem a bit popular. Onana's obviously a good shout. Sorry about that. Yeah, Onana's a decent shout. Obviously, he's 5 million as well. Vardiol and Grealish to start. As far as what we hear from now, like Vardiol isn't going to start. No news on Grealish, but I do expect him to start. So Grealish should be fine. Jordan, who do you think is the best 4.5 million defender? I've already got Chilwell, so I'm unsure on a double up with Chilwell, assuming Levi Colwill. Sorry, yeah, Colwill. I read that as Chilwell. Who would you say is the best 4.5?
There really isn't many 4.5s. The one I have in mind is probably Matt Cash for Aston Villa or Botman, but I know Newcastle don't have the greatest fixtures in their first 5, but I think Aston Villa slightly have better ones because, well, they have Newcastle first, but then they have Everton and then Burnley, and they got a hard one again, which is Liverpool, but I guess you could swap them out for someone else. And then obviously their fixtures get a bit better after game week 4 when they have Liverpool. They have Crystal Palace and then Chelsea. So I'll probably say around 4.5 million, maybe an Aston Villa defender like Matt Cash.
Interesting. Yeah, Matty Cash could be a good option. I also like Udogi at Spurs. I think at 4.5 million, he could be an interesting pick. Super low owned as well, 2% ownership. So he could be a nice differential. Stones or Gabriel? I think Gabriel. Stones looks like he's not going to play. He's not going to start. Also, best 3 combinations: Martinelli, Chilwell, and Lisandro Martinez, or Odegaard, Colwill, and Luke Shaw. I'd go with the second one. I think Odegaard, Colwill, and Luke Shaw for me.
Yeah, I'd go with the second one too, because Chilwell, I'm not too sure how long his fitness will last. Martinelli, obviously, plays minutes between Trossard and obviously Martinez. It's not really attacking like defender. Second option, we got Odegaard, obviously more minutes for him. Colwill, decent price for him, and obviously Luke Shaw has got more attacking threat for Man United.
Yeah, I think the second one as well. But yeah, let us know, guys, what your teams are looking like. Are you guys all locked in? Captaincy, is everyone on Haaland? I think most of us will be. I know there are a few people actually considering Saka against Forest. I do think that could be a good fixture for Arsenal. I do see goals in it. So yeah, it could be a good one.
I think for my team personally, there's only one position I'm not 100% on,
which is
as you guess, maybe Darwin, the player. A bit divided now when it's coming closer to the deadline, whether I want to go with Darwin or not. I mean, I could go with Nicholas Jackson, but
Gakpo, if you want to go Liverpool, I think Gakpo could start that game against Chelsea. But again, he could be a minute's risk if he comes off after 60, 70.
Yeah, that's the only thing I want. I think I want someone now that is going to play 90-minute football instead of obviously taking that risk and them not playing for 90 minutes. It's hard to pick one because there's not many forward options around that 7.5 million which are available. I mean, there were before more availability like Jesus and Kunkun.
Yep.
Oh, and maybe Hoyland, but these guys now are absent from being available, so there's limited choice. You got Wilson, he's at 8 million, and Watkins, but it's out of my price gap. There's only really Nicholas Jackson that I was really.
The only way you could bring is downgrading your goalkeeper potentially to a 4.5 or etc. and doing it that way and getting the 0.5 out, or if you want to really change that up. Other than that, yeah, I think the goalie potentially. How was it? Edison's is he 5 million, isn't he?
5.5.
5.5. So yeah, you could get another extra million if you really wanted to, but you do have that cover, I guess, having Man City defense.
Yeah, that's the worry. The defenders, whether they start consistently each game, obviously rotation may be a factor um, as the match has gone for Man City. So I think I put a second chance in Edison this season to see if he can redeem himself from last season where he did have a poor, I'd say, season in terms of clean sheets. But yeah, I think that is locked. I think Edison, especially with Burnley, where you expect a clean sheet guaranteed from them, despite being an away fixture. But yeah, it is Darwin. I'm tempted to swap Darwin for Nicholas Jackson because
Mm.
that's he is 7 million too, so he's cheaper. I would have 0.5 in the bank that way too.
Hmm.
But it will clash with Trent though because they do play each other.
Site's a bit laggy. Yeah, I've realised actually, site was a bit laggy, especially the app as well. Yeah, in regards to this comment, where have you seen that Stones isn't playing? Yeah, Lazy FPL on Twitter has said no Stones or Vardio. As mentioned as well by Dan the Man. If Alvarez isn't in the lineup, I'm probably going to go Darwin. I've seen Gakpo has been playing in midfield in preseason. Yeah, Gakpo did play in midfield in the last fixture for Liverpool. However, I don't think that's actually a long-term solution for Gakpo this season. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of that was down to the fact that Curtis Jones was injured or he had a slight knock, and Liverpool didn't want to risk it, and they ended up playing Gakpo as an 8, which allowed Jota to play up front. We will see Gakpo drop in, but I don't think that means it's a long-term option. But yeah, Darwin again. I don't know if he'll start. If I'm being completely honest, he could definitely start. He's got 4 goals in preseason. Yeah, he's looked good, but as he gets closer to the game on Sunday against Chelsea, I just think he's going to go with Gakpo, Klopp, and Jota even. Um, could bring in Odegaard for Diaby. Yeah, that could be a good move. I like Odegaard as a pick. But yeah, I don't want to leave the team for too long, was it? We've got about half an hour left now till the
Yeah,
deadline, so you don't want to spend too run it too close in case the website does mess up and crash, as we know FPL sometimes does.
yeah, it would be annoying if it did. Obviously, on the first eve of the start of the game week 1, we don't want the website crashing for those who haven't been able to put their moves in,
Mm.
which I may do that right now.
So, what are you thinking in regards to your team, like in regards to Darwin?
Well, because of so much doubt with Darwin now coming from the chat, it has made me rethink about whether if it's worth going with Darwin from the straight away. So I might go with Nicholas Jackson instead
Yeah,
of
Nicholas
Darwin.
Jackson could be an interesting pick. Like, what's his ownership at right now?
His ownership's 15.8%, so he's not massively owned player, but at
Mhm.
least having one Chelsea is, I guess, a good in terms of early. Maybe if you jump on it a bit more early than most people probably jump on it in game week 3 when obviously the fixtures become more easier because they do have Luton in game week 3, but maybe you got overlooking Chelsea assets from the
Yeah,
start.
yeah, it could be good going with Jackson. Obviously, we know he's going to play now because Nkunku's out, so he should get minutes in that up front. And he's looked decent in preseason. He's also got quite a few goals. I think Chelsea fans have actually spoke about. He's looked positive as well. So yeah, could work. Um,
But yeah, I have actually done the move. If I just refresh my page, obviously it's a bit laggy. Yeah, but Yeah,
Okay.
there's
Jackson. Nice.
Now I feel comfortable with the rest of it. No, that's sorted.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good, I think. Jackson against Liverpool is going to be interesting on obviously Sunday game. But yeah, we'll see how he does. Also, guys, don't forget, hit a like button on the video. If you've got any questions or anything else we missed out, we might do the community draft as well. I think we were meant to do the community draft where we were going to select the players. Is it all done in terms of the differentials? For those that are watching for the first time, maybe we did a community draft in the last video or 2 streams ago where we are going to make a team that is all differentials, and the rule is we can only select players under 10% ownership, and we just made a team. If you want to bring it up, Jordan, when you're ready. Oh,
Yeah, I can bring that up. We'll have to sign out this one, but that should be fine
okay.
because I think my team's pretty good.
All right, I'll let you do that, and share the screen when you can. But yeah, I'm just looking at Twitter now to see any more news in regards to like. I mean, John Stones not starting is quite a surprise. I think. I thought he'd definitely start, but that's no John Stones and Ruben Diaz, so that's why it is a bit surprising that he's not starting.
Now it's Pepe saves them players for the bigger games because it is early.
Mm-hmm. Also, in regards to the goalkeeper situation, a lot of people wanted to get Brighton goalkeeper Jason Steele. Obviously, Brighton have signed a new goalkeeper, Verbruggen, and De Zerbi's actually said that he's going to rotate both the goalkeepers and they're going to get a 50-50 split of games depending on form and availability. So Steele will start against Luton, and then apparently De Zerbi decided that after his error in the friendly, against Rayo Vallecano, so there could be rotating goalkeepers at Brighton. So you probably want to avoid having a Brighton goalkeeper, in my opinion. Goddamn Pep says Dan the man might avoid City all season. Par Haaland. Yeah, there is always that worry with Man City and Pep that he does like to rotate. Of course, that's the risk I think we take with the City assets, even though they do have such high ceiling when they do play. With the news of Guardiola, I'm tempted to actually now start with Reece James and Chilwell to save myself a transfer later on. Yeah, you could have both. If you're big on the Chelsea defense, I'm not sure I'd want both. I think one is fine. I think Pep Roulette can knock an FPL team back badly. Says double or triple V.
Yeah, most definitely can. If you don't know the lineups, especially beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got Haaland, I think, right now in my team from City. Have you thought about rotating Pedro and Jackson instead of Watkins, instead of the same price? Is that question to Jordan? I think that's to me.
Yeah, I think so because you have Pedro, don't you?
I'd put Watkins in. No, I've not really thought about it, to be fair, having rotating Pedro in. I think if I had Pedro, I'll probably start him. But another thing with Pedro is I think Pedro is a player that you want in your team if you have Salah. Because Salah takes up a lot of the budget, that means you have to get a cheap forward. It makes sense to go with Pedro. However, if you can afford a 7.58 million striker, then I think you just avoid Pedro, personally. But that's just my thoughts. Yeah. And we're 25 minutes away from the deadline now, so we should start locking in our teams. Also, has anything changed from our draft? Has anyone gone above 10%?
Oh, that's true. Actually, start with the goalkeeper Johnston. He's still under 10. Timber, he's 6%.
I think we've got to take Timber out. he's a bit of a worry. Ruben Diaz is not starting either, so he's got to go. So we've got to make some changes, haven't we?
Yep, we do. I'll swap to the transfer tab. And yes.
Okay, so the leaked lineup has actually come out from leaked_FPL. Don't know how reliable they are, but apparently Edison in goal, Walker, Akanji, and Ake, Rico Lewis and Rodri, and then Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, Grealish, and Haaland. So Foden starts, Grealish starts, KDB, and Silva is the midfield. So yeah, that looks like what's the team's going to be.
No Alvarez.
Yeah, no Alvarez as well, apparently. So whoever was asking earlier about Alvarez. But yeah, Jordan, what's the situation then? Who are we bringing in? Because
So Ruben Diaz is a no-no.
I don't know who we'd go for.
And obviously Timber.
Maybe like an Ake or an Akanji. You could go for one of them. They are starting. However, they could become a risk later on when Stones, Diaz, and Guardiola all fit.
Let's just check the ownership. So yeah, well, Ake is 3.2% and Akanji is 4.2. So they're definitely acceptable.
Maybe Akanji, but again, he could become a rotation risk later down the line. That's the only worry with that.
Yeah, that's true. Unless transfers are planned, obviously for Akanji or whoever you pick for that.
Yeah, we could go for one of them actually, because we still have a good defense in that sense. We can, subs will, because we have a full on good 15 players. So if they do miss out, we always have the bench, I guess, to rely on.
Yeah.
So you could do that. So yeah, I'd put probably Ake or Kanji, one of them in, start one of them.
We'll put Akanji in.
Let us know, guys. Obviously, this is a community draft, so get your thoughts in. This is a team that we've made that, and the rule is all the players have to have under 10% ownership, and we're gonna have like a differentials team and see how they do, how it performs. But yeah, who else? We probably want an Arsenal defender in there, but I don't know who you'd go. Saliba, can you go? Is he under 10%?
Yes, Saliba. He is 17%.
Roman says, with the team news now, Grealish or Foden? For me, Foden, just more upside. All right, Jordan, I will let you add in who you think is the best option.
What about Ben White? Is he?
He's probably over 10%, but you can check.
Dead on 10%.
We could include him then if he's 10%, can't we?
Yeah.
Or is it under 10%?
I mean, if it's borderline 10%, I think we can get away with that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we can add in Ben White. So I'll just make the transfers.
And also, I was thinking Havertz as captain, by the way. Go different. Is Havertz going to start, actually?
Well, that's the thing, do you see?
Is the website down or something, by the way?
It's very slow in processing in terms of transfers, because I just confirmed transfers and it's still loading.
Okay, cool. I'll let you do that.
So yeah, guys, if you haven't made your plans for your teams yet, make sure you do, because now we are starting to see some issues with the website and also on the app too.
Yeah, I'm seeing issues. I'm being honest. I am seeing some issues. All right, I'm going to get the fixtures up as well, actually. I mean, my team's done pretty much. I think I'm not going to change much. What was I going to do? I was going to bring up the fixtures because we've got to do score predictions, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Sorry, I can't even hear you.
Yes, we do have to do our predictions for the matches in Game Week 1.
David said bin Pedro Porro. I'll let you sort that out. Let us know if it comes back the website or is it completely gone. But we could do some score predictions. I want to write down actually some of these predictions so we can kind of see and come back to it and kind of do like a points total and see who gets more right, me and you at the end of the season. And just kind of keep a tally of it really. So who do you think wins out of Burnley and City? Right, let me write this down. Give me a sec.
I think City will win this one, despite being an away fixture.
What are you going for? Score?
I'll probably go for 3-0 Man City.
3-0 Man City. I was actually gonna say I'm gonna go for 4-0 Man City. 4-0 Man City. Okay, cool. Moving on to the Saturday fixtures. Obviously, that's only one game tonight at Burnley and City. We have 6 fixtures on Saturday. First one to early kick off at 12:30. Arsenal at home to Forest. How do you think this one's going to go?
Yes, early fixture for Arsenal, not Forest. I can see Arsenal winning, but I can't see Nottingham Forest scoring 1 goal. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go for 3-1 Arsenal. I think it'll be a comfortable win. And hopefully, the players we have, like Saka, etc., can get on the score sheet. Moving on to Bournemouth at home to West Ham. How do you think this one's going to go?
Should be a good game for West Ham. Bournemouth at home, though, it's going to be challenging. I do think West Ham can win that one, and I'm going to go with 2-1 again, West Ham.
Okay, I'm gonna actually go for a 1-1 draw in that one. I think it could be a stalemate. So yeah, I'll go 1-1. West Ham have obviously signed Alvarez, but I don't think he'll be ready. Obviously, the defensive midfielder to replace Declan Rice. So we'll see how he does in West Ham, but they've not looked great in preseason. Brighton next up at home to Luton, newcomers in the Premier League. How do you see this one panning out, Jordan? Brighton Luton.
I think it's going to go Brighton's way. I think at home Brighton are pretty good, and newly promoted Luton, they have a bit of a struggle on their hands. So I'm going to go with 2-0 Brighton.
2-0 Brighton. Okay, I'm going to go for 3-0 Brighton. I think they will get a couple goals in this one, and I do expect them to put Luton to the sword. Moving on to Everton at home to Fulham. How do you see this one going, really? Because obviously Everton did struggle last season. They are at home now. Fulham, Mitrovic, there are slight worries or doubts that he could have left, but it looks like he could play in that one. So how do you see this one going?
It's hard to tell with this one which way it go, but I think both teams will draw. So I'm going to go with 1-1.
Mm-hmm. I'll go for a 1-0 win for Everton. I don't know why, but yeah, I think 1-0. Sheffield United at home to Crystal Palace is the next game. How do you see this one going?
It should be a good a good game for Crystal Palace against Sheffield United, despite being at home. I think Sheffield can get a goal though behind Crystal Palace, but I think Crystal Palace will get the win in that game. So I'm going to go with 3-1. I think Crystal Palace.
3-1 Palace. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win for Palace away. I think Palace will start the season with a win. And then the late kickoff is Newcastle at home to Aston Villa. Was it quite a big game? Um, do you see Newcastle kicking the season off with a win, or do you see Emery with Aston Villa getting something here?
It's going to be, I think, a tight game, this one. I do see a lot of goals involved in this fixture. I'm probably going to go with a Newcastle win, though. And I'm going to go with 3-2 Newcastle.
Oh, okay, goals in this one. I'm gonna go for a Newcastle win, but I think it'll be 2-1. I think it'll be a tight game though. Wow, okay. Apparently Grealish isn't starting. Team News and Ticks is saying Grealish isn't starting. So, if you guys have Grealish, for those that do, we have Grealish in the team, Jordan. You might want to bench him. Hi guys, just during the stream, what do you think of Chukwuemeka at 4.5, considering preseason he played behind the striker? I think he's a good option at 4.5. I do think he's an interesting player and I do like him. And at 4.5, he could be worth a punt. Pretty obvious which way I'm going, but so weak up front seems wrong to me. So anyway, Reece James and a 4.5 striker, or a 6 million forward like West and a 4 million defender. If you're not going to play the striker, if it's a bench fodder, then yeah, go 4.5 bench fodder. But yeah, let's move on to the score predictions. Let's carry on Sunday's fixtures. There is 2 games. First one up is Brentford at home to Spurs. I'll kick off with my prediction. I'm actually going for I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Brentford. I think Brentford are going to win. I think Spurs, Harry Kane looks like he's going to have his medical tonight and it should be officially confirmed maybe tomorrow morning. I think Spurs could struggle in that one. So yeah, I'm going to back Brentford, I think, and Burma hopefully to get a goal. Obviously, he might potentially going to be in my team, I think now. Yeah, what do you reckon, Jordan? Brentford Spurs?
Yeah, I think Brentford could have a good game against Spurs. I think Spurs might be a bit deflated now that they've lost Harry Kane in their squad. So I'm going to go with, I think, 2-0 Brentford.
2-0 Brentford, interesting. Moving on to the big game, I think. I think that's the biggest game of the actual whole game week 1. Chelsea Liverpool. Chelsea at home, 4:30 kickoff. Obviously, these two teams have basically been fighting each other off the pitch in regards to the Moises Caicedo transfer deal. So it's going to be a feisty one probably on Sunday. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game, a very exciting one to watch at. I still think Liverpool can win it though, despite Chelsea being at home and their previous season record. I'm gonna go with 2-1 Liverpool. I think.
You going 2-1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. I want to back Liverpool in this one, obviously, but I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw. I think this could be one where we see goals from both, and I do think it'll be quite a tight game. So yeah, I'll go 1-1, even though hopefully Liverpool do win. And then moving on to the Monday night football, and that is Manchester United at home to Wolves. Wolves, their manager's left. I don't actually know who's in charge right now, but yeah, how do you see this one going, Jordan? Do you think Man United will get a comfortable win?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this would be a nice win for Man United. I think maybe a clean sheet as well for them too, because I don't see Wolves scoring against Man United, especially at Old Trafford at home. So, score prediction, I'm probably going to say I'm going to go with 2-0, I think, Man United.
2-0 Man United.
Yeah.
Interesting. Start Watkins or João Pedro. This is an interesting one because I do want to get João Pedro in my team. But I also like Watkins. So I'll start both if you had him. But Jordan, who would you start?
And João Pedro has the better fixture over Watkins to start off with, so I may side towards João Pedro for game week 1 just because he has Luton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll have to go with João Pedro because that Newcastle game that Aston Villa have is not going to be easy. I do see a lot of goals in it, but I don't know. It's an unpredictable fixture where we might see not the main goal scorers in that one score. So maybe Watkins potentially blanks in that one. But I think
I didn't actually
Pedro,
get your thoughts on Watkins. What do you make of Watkins as a player to have in your team? Obviously, 8 million.
I think he's all right to have in your team at 8 million in terms of forwards. He is the main scorer for Aston Villa too, as we see last season. So I don't think you can go wrong going with Watkins. He's definitely a decent pick around 8 million too, if you want to go for a cheap forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if João Pedro does start for Brighton, I could be tempted to go there for game week 1 over Ollie Watkins.
This way. Hold on. Website's being very slow. Sorry. So you are quite keen on Watkins then as an option, or maybe not for game week 1.
Yeah, I'm keen for Watkins as an option. Yeah, but not for game week 1.
So if you look at his overall fixtures long term, Watkins obviously not a great start, but he does get pretty good in 2, 3, and 4. And I just think he's going to have a good season. I don't know why, and I am tempted to bring him in. So João Pedro is a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that as well. He does save money, João Pedro, and if he kicks off the season well against Luton, maybe he becomes a longer term hold. If obviously he starts every game for Brighton and he's putting the goals in the net for them. But also we do have some good news. The website is back for the community team. I've managed to retrieve it.
Yep.
After refreshing it dozens of times, it has come back. So I'll just show that quickly because we have literally 6 or 5 minutes left before deadline end.
Yeah, I'll let you bring that up.
So here's the team.
So there you go, guys. That is a community draft. Let us know what you think in the comments. The problem is that I'm not certain that João Pedro starts. If he starts, I'll start him. I do think he'll start, but he could be a risk in terms of he might miss 1 game in 3. And if he does, hopefully you got a decent bench as well. But yeah, definitely could be good to own him, especially if João Pedro scores a couple of goals against Luton, then he's going to get a quick price rise, I think, straight away off the bat. Because of how cheap he is, a lot of people will start bringing him in, and then that could be good. Apparently, Gabriel is out. I've not seen that. I've not seen that anywhere.
That's a big miss if he's out.
Andy said it. Is that true, Gabriel? I've got him in my team.
Oh, that's a shocker. Why would Gabriel be out there? But Yeah, for this community draft, we do need to choose a captain.
I think Havertz and be different.
Havertz is not in there. Oh wait, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Havertz.
I keep thinking he's Chelsea kit. Sorry. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I'd go with Havertz, and then have Vice on like Son or someone like that. Unless let us know in the chat, guys, if you think someone else.
Yeah, guys, who do you think should be the captain in this differential team?
Mm-hmm.
And also what formation? Because obviously we've got decent picks on the bench.
Oh, play Gak. Yeah, I'd play Gakpo instead of Porro, I think. Yes, yeah, Gab Jesus.
Jesus. There's only 3 minutes left. I will save this team. But yeah, this is how it looks. I mean, we could put the Vice on. Just Wilson. Shouldn't matter much. And the website's gone down again.
Damn. There's 3 minutes left to the deadline anyway, so I guess we can't do much about that. I just put the fixtures back up on the screen for now. Shaw and Ramsdale or Onana and White. Shaw and Ramsdale, I think. Actually, no. I don't know. Who would you go for?
I'd go for Shaw, I think. And Ramsdale, even though there's that.
Ramsdale's a worry, though, if they sign David Raya.
Yeah, that's the only thing. If Raya signs for Arsenal, then they're going to be managed both of them between each other. But at the same time, though, I do like Shaw. Just for that attack.
You've got Shaw on your team, haven't you?
Yes, I do. He does get a decent bonus points, as we saw last season. He was like the bonus point magnet. Whenever he got an attack and return or a clean sheet, he would still get a bonus regardless if Rashford or someone else scored. So there is a lot of value for Shaw at 5.5 as well. But Onana, you only get clean sheets from him. So I think I'd go more with Shaw for that one. Risky Ramsdale as well, despite the developments that he potentially will come to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I have managed to get the team back up again, and obviously this is what it looks like. Now, it didn't save the vice captain, but I don't think we're going to be able to change that again.
Also, what's Pedro's ownership again? Because I bought him in, but I don't know if it's gone through fully.
Yeah, it's 25.6.
That's pretty high.
That's
higher than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, that's gone up much higher in the last 24 hours.
What's Watkins again? Was it 20 with 30 something, wasn't it, Watkins?
I think so.
Is there any way you can check on your site? Was it letting you?
Yeah, it's letting me just about. Watkins' ownership is 26.
So they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
1% in it.
Pretty much.
I hope I don't regret it going Pedro over Watkins. I feel like it could pay off though, especially at the beginning if Pedro gets a good start.
Absolutely. And the deadline is now up.
Boom.
And that's the team I'm rolling with.
There you go. There you go. That is it, guys. Deadline is here. Hopefully you've locked your teams in. And then your captaincies as well. So I've gone Haaland captain. I went Saka vice. I also did change the bench order last minute on my phone because the website wasn't working. So I do have a slight change in my team, guys. You know how I was thinking of bringing Udogie in, the Tottenham guy, the Tottenham fullback.
Yeah.
I've ended up actually taking him out because I was going to consider having him in my team, but I took him out, and I've done a bit of a madness. I've bought in Reece James, and Reece James is a bench player though.
Oh,
So I bought Reece James in for the bench. So I've got 5.5 million bench player. So I do have quite an expensive bench now. So I've done that. I don't know if that. So I probably won't start him most weeks, but I have bought Reece James in. So, and I've got Chilwell starting. So I've got both the fullbacks at Chelsea. But yeah,
interesting. I think that obviously decent picks as long as they stay fit.
Yeah.
That's the only downside to them. Otherwise, they're fine.
Yeah, and I think that's it, Jordan. We're probably going to wrap it up. Obviously, we've been going about an hour and a half on this stream. So, yeah, we want to say a big thank you to everyone that has watched this stream. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you do smash a like button on this video and also subscribe to our channel. Our next target is actually 900 subscribers. So get us there, guys, by sharing the video and liking as well. All your comments help as well. So drop a comment as well if you can. But yeah, we're going to go. Obviously, the game kicks off in about an hour and a half. So yeah, we're gonna watch. I'm assuming you're gonna watch that as well, Jordan. And
absolutely.
should be a good game. And yeah, Premier League is back, guys. And as Ali Mac says, good luck all. Good luck to everyone. Hopefully you have a great game week 1. Make sure you do join us on Sunday for the Knee Jerk live reaction stream, the first one of the year, or first one of the season, I should say, where we react to game week 1 and talk about game week 2 as well. So yeah, that's it from us. Take care, guys, and we will see you soon. Anything else you'd like to add, actually, Jordan, before we do go?
Just have a nice weekend, guys. Enjoy the football, and we'll see you Sunday on how it's all gone. So hopefully you'll get nice green arrows and obviously a lot of points in your team. So take care until then, and we'll see you Sunday.